Hello my lovelies! I hope you've been well. So today what we're going to be talking about are my favorite ink swatching tools. So when I did my Techokaigi a while ago, I remember there was a lot of comments. Like I did ask actually. So it wasn't unprompted, but I did ask if you would want to see how I ink swatch and what tools I use for ink swatching and my favorite ways to ink swatch, essentially like just an ink swatch video. And I think a lot of you were very interested, so I figured I'll talk about the tools and a few different ways you can ink swatch. You would probably like to ask me, why do I ink swatch like so many different ways? The reason is I don't know. I just really like something about it feels very therapeutic for me. It's kind of like painting, but it's not really painting because I don't know how to paint. So ink swatching feels very, very meditative almost. I don't know what I'm rambling about, but I just like doing it. Okay, so I do have a few different ways. If you follow my Instagram, probably this is the most this one and this one is probably the one that you see the most, essentially. I'll go through this one first and then I'll go through this because this one, it's a little bit more fiddly. Basically, with this, the book that I have is a spiral ring notebook in A5 slim card file, and this is by the Travels company. They sell the one that has the spine, the what do you call it, the coily spine, I don't know what it's called, but that. And they do have, if you are more of a Travels notebook person, they actually have these ones, which is a Travels notebook insert, so you can use it for your Travels notebook as well. I use both of them because this is the one that I bought first because I feel like I will put it in my Travels notebook because I'm a Travels notebook girly. But essentially, this one is nice for standalone, and I figured, you know what, if I just add this into the sleeve, then at least I can add extra, because I don't know if this will be enough, even though half of it is still like not filled. But I would like to leave some spaces because, as you can tell, there's a little bit of a rainbow theme going on, so I separated it with like cool tone colors and warm tone colors, even though I don't have a lot of warm tone. And that's deceiving as well, the cool and the warm, because essentially a green can be both cool and warm at the same time. But you know what, that's a whole different discussion that I'm not going to go into. But basically, you know what I mean, like cool base tone, I don't know how to say it. Basically, like these ones have a lot of greens and blues, and then this one have more like, you know, pinks and oranges and things like that. So these ones are using the Wearing Gold swatch card, so you can get it in this pack, and they are around, if you're Australian, they're around, I'd say $15 to $20. If you're in the US, it's probably like $10 or something. I don't know. It's by Wearing Gold, and they have different types. So this is just like one of the plainest type, but the cheapest one as well, because their other ones are a bit more expensive for less in the pack because they are a bit more fancy. So basically, they're the ones that have like very fancy looking motifs, and if you or drawings or things like that, I think there's like a bunny one, there's a Tinkerbell one and stuff like that. And when you wash over with your ink, the image, because it has a coating, it won't take in your ink, so you can still see the motifs or the drawing. It's really cool, but that one is a little bit more expensive than this one. So if you're into that, feel free to get that. But I like this one because it has section that you can write on the side. So this is the first way that you can do it. Second way to do it is, so this is a little, what do I call this, into one. Basically, I get some of these Maruman paper packs. I believe they're A7 size. In Australia, the only way you can get it is from Kinokuniya, unfortunately. But you can use any other way to do it, I guess. I just really like this because the paper has a texture. I don't know if I can show it to you. So I'm not sure if you can see through. the textures, but the paper itself has a texture. So because the paper has a texture to it, it has a very interesting effect when you put over the layers of the ink, because as you can tell, you can see a little bit of the textures, and then you can see kind of transparency and stuff as well. That's why I like doing it on this paper. I don't know if you can see it as well, but this is one of my favorite ways to do it, just because when you have this a few different ways to swatch, right? Because I swatch this with brush pen, and these are from the back of my glass pen, and this is from the tip of my glass pens. And then I like to do this as well, which is like a wash with a little bit of water. So you put water first, and then you put the swatch of ink, and then you can see the color kind of lift off. It doesn't always look good, but then on some of them you can see the little how the ink blends into the water, and I just really love that effect. It doesn't always translate, but also why I like it in the bottom like that, it lets me do this very quick, what do you call it, flip, and then you can tell the colors on this side. I like to have that line on the bottom as well, just for that flippy like action. And as you can tell, I am obsessed with rainbow background, because look, if you do it properly on the sides, you can tell that it's like the color is very nice. I love just flipping through it like that. Can you tell? Can do this for a long time, just flip through it. But anyway, how this was made is that I use this, and I use a few different stamps. So let me see. I use this stamp that I got from Beverly, and I also use this stamp, the retro stamp section. I have taken off because I don't like that section, so that one just sits like that and that, and then the rest I just fill in with my glass pens and things like that. So I really like that as well, because it lets me do a few swatches, because you know I told you I really like swatching ink. So for me it's nice to fill in more than just one fill, than just doing it like just a wash kind of thing. And then you can see how it looks like with different mediums, different tools you swatch it with. So really like that as well. So that's the second way to do it, so pop it aside as well. Another way that I started but I didn't really continue is with this little flippy book kind of thing. When I first got it, it was meant to be for, like, you know, if I ever go somewhere to buy inks or things like that, then I can flip through this and know which one I already have and which one I don't. So they basically just lives in this ring. I got this ring, I think from, is it Daiso? Or did I get it from Kinokuniya? I can't remember. I think this might be a Daiso one, but the quality of the paper is not too great, so you might want to make your own papers for this. But also, I was thinking the other day, with these cards, right, you can also make it a flippy book if you're okay with this size. For me, it's a little bit big, but as long as you have one of these rings, you can always like make a hole on this corner or this corner, whichever one you like. And if you do it like that, then you have a flippy book of all your inks. I just like the portability of it, even though this is quite easy to bring around as well. But with this, it's kind of like so easy, just like flip through each of them quite nicely. This one is also interesting because you can tell the color of the grid is actually blue, right? You can tell which ink colors is more opaque than the other ones, because like if you see that one's definitely more opaque than the other one, and you know, you can see it that way. But I didn't go through with this. I just started in the beginning and then I got a little bit lazy. That's another thing that you can do for your ink swatching, I guess, like these cards, and it's easy and portable if you needed to bring it around. And I also, as you can tell, like in the beginning, I also did the thing on the side just to be able to see like the colors, because like when you see it at the glance like this, if you just look at it on the sides like this, corners of it has a little bit of color. So if you look at it like that, you can see the colors. If you compare it to the whites to the bottom, the top you can almost tell that it has some colors, like a little bit. I think if you have way more stack than just like, I don't know, I only have 10-ish here, I think. If you have way more, you'll probably see it more. Another tool and another way to do it, I will demonstrate it here, is because I just find it so cool. This is the Tombow Pit glue pen. So this one will do the cool masking effect that you can see in some of the other wearing glue swatch cards. If you're someone who loves doodling and have nice doodling skills, you might want to do this because you can change it up every time you swatch, which will be fun. I will demonstrate because I just feel like it's very cool. I already wrote on this with the glue pen before this, just to make it faster. But what you can do is you can write or doodle or something over there, and then you just have to dip your brush or anything over there, and once you actually swatch it over, you can tell that whatever you wrote or doodled on the bottom is actually staying because it's a glue pen. So there you go. Isn't this so cool? I just find it super cool. The paper is not great because it's not made for swatching. It's just like a random card that I have. But isn't that the coolest effect? Look at that. Isn't that cool? You can make your own swatching, like cool masking swatch card thing. I find that that's pretty cool. Just using one of these. This is pretty affordable. I don't think it's more than $10 these, but has a very, very cool effect. So there you go. If you like doodling or if you have nice writing, I recommend this way as well. And the last thing, I put it on the last because it's a little bit iffy for self-advertising. But another thing that I have done is I actually have on my shop some ink swatches, printables that I designed. So with these ink bottles, I think there's 1 in a page, 2 in a page, 4 in a page, and 5 in a page if I'm not wrong. And they're just printable, so you can print it over on any of your nicer paper. So you can put it on like a tomoe ribbon paper if that's what you use for swatching your inks and stuff. But I have really liked taking this to, like, if you go to fountain pen meets and stuff, sometimes they some people will bring in inks and you can swatch them. I've done that with some of my friends before. So I took this when I went to one of my friend's house, and she actually has a few inks to swatch and everything. So this was from that, and I just find that it's actually very useful for this. I was going to do it for like a proper swatching insert on my travels notebook, but you know what, in the end I think it'll be very good just to, like, you know, sample other people's inks and see if you like it, kind of thing. I think that's way more useful for that, so I started using it for that. I still have a lot of pages left because some of these I'm also just trialing when I designed it, and this is on the Midori paper, and it takes ink quite well, so I like that one as well. It's linked down below if you're interested in purchasing. It's a printable, so essentially you can print it however many you want on any paper you want, and I like that flexibility because I know ink people are very, very particular towards their paper, because obviously different inks works differently in each paper. You might want to print it on a few different types of paper and then just have it side by side if you want. So there you go. That's the last one of the ink swatching tools. So just to recap, I will put all the links on the stuff down below, I guess, as usual. To be honest, the wearing glue one is probably the one that's easiest to do. You just get this whole thing. It's $14.95 when I got it, AUD, so it's probably less than 10 if you're in the UK. This is probably the easiest for you because you just have to buy the thing and then use it. This is easy because you can just slot it in. But if you're someone who likes customizing, I think this is pretty cool as well. I really like this because you can essentially customize it however you like to do it, and all you need is just some stamps and some papers. Or you can do it with the ink swatches insert as well, or the Tombow glue pen that have very cool effects. So I hope that helps if you're looking for new ideas on how to swatch your inks, or if you're just starting to swatch your inks, or if you just, like me, are obsessed with swatching your inks. I don't know why, but I just find it very therapeutic just to sit there and then swatch my inks. And I feel like, I don't know if you have this problem as well, and tell me down below if you do. I feel like sometimes I get inks just so I can swatch. So like, I've gotten into like, maybe I should just get samples, because I feel like getting samples much cheaper, but also it already gives me a satisfaction of a new ink because I already get to swatch it. And that you probably can swatch a few different ways with a jar, right? And then put it in your fountain pen for one run or something. But anyway, I shall leave you here. I hope you get something out of it, or at least find it interesting or entertaining or something. If you ink swatch in a different way, do let me know. I am always open to new ways of swatching ink. Like I told you, I really like swatching them. And if you end up trying any of this, do let me know as well, because I also want to know if you like it as well. So I guess that's all for today. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Because this color, like, I don't know how to explain it. Help.